Yo, boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing the good old-fashioned Assassination on Rogue, and we're coming with a kind of weird comp. Now, I would say Wrestler Shaman is probably better with this comp, maybe even a Wrestler Druid, because you're going to be, and maybe not Wrestler Druid. Then again, this comp can also be pretty okay in Damp, just not with a Prez. With a Prez, you're more so going to be trying to rely on just a lot of burst damage and to close out games as fast as possible. So versus like melee cleaves and stuff like that, it's going to be really good against. And then versus higher dampener comps, it's obviously going to get worse because Prez has to be up in the open, and any healer that's forced to be on top of your players is obviously not going to be the best versus dampener comps. But you'll see here that overall you have a lot of damage, a lot of pressure, and the game's pretty much just it's pretty easy once you get the groove of things. But yeah, that's pretty much that. So here we get a good old we get a gouge on the healer. We're gonna double bleed everything we can, and we're just gonna kidney shot whoever we can whenever it's off CD and off DR. So here we're going feral. He basically has no CDs, and that's pretty much that. Also, Hunter can die. As you can see, the Hunters were literally randomly dying to air because of my bleeds and my guy's damage. So here we swap, we garrote the healer, and this guy's dead. That's when garroting healers can be really good, and especially if they're stacked, it's the best because once you hit one person, it's going to hit whoever's around. So we just garroted the healer, ended up garroting the Pharaoh Druid, ended up killing him pretty quick, and that's pretty much that game. So like versus comps like this, it's going to be a lot worse, and once they get the groove of your one shot and your potential damage, they're going to start clicking CDs, and that's when it gets bad. Because in reality, you're not really supposed to beat this comp as our comp. But as you can see, we triple garrote. That's what you want to be doing. Get those triple garrotes out, and then just start bleeding everything. So here we kidney shot. We can blind the healer. So here we're gonna blind the healer before we click our burst here. So here we're gonna Cool Blood, King's Bane, Death Mark. We tried to sap off of it, couldn't do it. So here we're just gonna garrote, and we're just gonna keep pumping damage. He does end up I end up just late picking for some reason. Good old fast. Here I'm probably gonna not trinket, so here I hold. For some reason, I'm getting just unhealable CC trying to run there. So here we're just going to use our fangs to get all three fangs on everybody, which is really good damage. As you can see, the damage is insane right now. Just bleeding up targets. Use your AoE, the red AoE blades, whenever they're stacked. We still almost end up dying just to the Affliction Warlock because they're so like overtuned right now. And obviously, if you leave an Affy alone by itself for 3 seconds and they get UIs on everybody, on top of my healer having to play on top of us, it's not going to be a fun story, and that's pretty much why you have to be going Warlock a lot of the time. Anytime you face an Affy Warlock, you kind of have to go them a lot, otherwise you're not going to have a good one. So here we're going to bleed him, we're going to kidney bomb him, he's going to port. So at this point we're just bladesing, getting our slice and dice for the extra healing. At this point we're just going to Cool Blood, use our burst, gonna basically get garrotes out on everybody, cheap shot the SP so we can stop him from doing anything, re-bleed the Warlock, and we're just gonna spam a Venoms off of that. We get Trinket from the Shaman, so that's nice. We could probably gouge him, even though there's no point of doing so because it's gonna break my bleeds. At this point we're just PVing him down and taking him out. So here we end up almost killing him here. Shaman's low, Priest is low, Lock's low. At this point we're just gonna multi-bleed, probably Trinket the Fear, or we'll just wait. It looks like we're gonna wait. So like your worst enemy is the Warlock getting triple UIs. That's the worst thing that can happen. So here we end up, for some reason this game I was just really bad with kicks, I guess. It's whatever. I think these are the starter games that we had, so I mean obviously I'm pretty sure it's like 7 or 6 o'clock right now. Don't ask why I'm up at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning playing literal WoW. But at this point, the Evoker kind of just PvEs him down, clicks his burst, and literally just solos him through the healing that he can do. Here, we're going to blind the healer, and at this point, we're just going to kidney the Shaman. We're going to vanish, try to sap, going to gouge instead. So, gouge him, garrote, and we're going to take him out right here. So, just in that silence garrote, we're able to take him out, and then off that, my guy could have DR slept or did whatever, but the one thing that's good about having a Prez Evoker is you're getting a lot of burst out of it because obviously Prez does a lot of burst damage, but you're gonna be losing out versus not having Static Totem. So what usually would do with a Shaman is he'd Static Totem all of them together, and then your Evoker's gonna pop CDs, and then you're gonna pop your Shadow Dance Garrotes, and then you're literally just gonna get so much damage out to where everything's just dead. Unless they click every CD, they're not surviving. That's why like a shaman is good in those type of bursty situations where you want everything stacked up. But then again, you're not gonna get as much pressure as you normally would versus like a you know that a Prez Evoker can do, because Prez Evokers can have a lot of burst potential, and obviously, if you're getting caster cleaves and you're losing games, just go for a shaman or go for a different healer. And here, this guy literally just dies through wall, dies through Hellstone. The shaman has to trinket. He did have Link, but they're nowhere near stacked. And at that point, it was just too much damage. He should have walled probably higher, but he probably just wasn't expecting that much damage to come out. So we take the free wheel. So here was another bad game for kicking. Again, it's whatever, but Boomy DH, really strong comp. Probably one of, I'd say probably one of the best comps right now. Um, it had a lot of burst. If it's played correctly and you play it good, you're definitely gonna be beating a lot of things. Usually, they're probably most likely gonna beat you. It's very rare that you're gonna beat this comp as an R comp, mainly because of the CC potential that the Druid has. If the Druid's good, he can kind of just get perfect clones off. And then on top of a Evoker, anytime you face an Evoker as Assassination Rogue, it's not going to be fun. Your bleeds are just going to get purged, or not purged, they're going to get dispelled. And you're pretty much never getting uptime on your burst. Thankfully, it looks like he didn't do that. Now he did it. So he did it after my burst, so that was a big mistake. So he let me get off all my CDs on this guy. So we ended up getting Trinket from the Boomy, Skin. It would have been nice if we got Trinket from the Evoker, but I ended up not using it. I should have used it when I was bursting, but I honestly thought he was just going to dispel immediately, but yeah, that was a bad blind because I didn't have a stun off of it. So in that situation, I wait till I have a kidney shot, I blind, and then I kidney. That way we're getting some type of, stun here. We kidney the DH behind the pillar here. Like I said, we're literally both dying behind a pillar. We almost end up dying. And again, it's like, this is kind of how it is. When you're playing with a Prez, he has to be on top of you, and versus comps like this, it's the worst thing possible. You don't want to be stacked in these type of comps, because DH is going to do unhealable damage, Boomy's going to get free CC, and it's not going to be a good time for you. But regardless, you're going to have a lot of pressure, and you're going to be able to do at least something. But at this point, you're kind of just bleeding whatever you can hit, and just trying to get there. That's pretty much all you're trying to do. Kenny off DR. It looks like we both had kicks there. We could have probably kicked the clone, but whatever. So here we're just going to get ready for the kidney shots. We're going to kidney the Boomy here. Kidney. Use our Cool Blood and Kingsbane. Full bleed. At this point we're kind of just pumping out damage. He looks like he walls the Druid here. So at this point we're going to bleed the DH. No point of staying on the Boomy whenever we can't do anything. He actually gets a good fade cast there. I step to the Evoker so I can get out of line of sight because my guy's CC'd. At this point we're going to go for a re-stealth if possible so we can go for Garrotes. So Garrote, it looks like we cheap shot. I should have Garroted there, but it's whatever. So here we're kidney shot. We're going to re-bleed this guy. Going to bleed the DH. So Garrote, get a 3-point kidney, or 3-point rupture on him just for a little bit of extra damage. And as you can see, we're kind of just getting bleeds out. You can tell that it's kind of one-sided games because it's like their CC setups are going to be a lot stronger than ours because their amount of CC they're going to have is insane. They have Incap, they have Root Beam, they have Cyclones, they have Bash, they have a lot of stuff to just stop us from playing the game. Thankfully, it looks like their goes were a little bit sloppy, so you think this guy would have been dead here. He should have died, honestly. Thankfully, he ends up surviving somehow. I don't know how he lives, especially on all their, like, a lot of damn right there. It looks like the Boomy has Incarn too. He probably could have clicked it. So at this point, we're going to rebleed. The game looks pretty much lost to us. It's like, it's not looking too good. But at this point, now we have damage coming up, and we have CC. So at this point, now we're just going to get ready to just full throttle and do as much damage as possible. So we Vanish, Garrote everything, full Rupture everything, Blades. Now we're going to get our full Bleeds up. We're going to probably Shiv Kidney here, so get our comm points, Shiv, Kidney. It looks like we Cold Blood, Kingsbane, and at this point, we're just going to pump out damage on literally everything. We kind of have to win here. And as you can see, the Evoker just PVs him down with my Kingbane on him, and we take him out. So, very good with Burst. Obviously, you're going to have a little bit hard time with caster comps, but otherwise, it's pretty good. I'd say a Wrestle Charm is obviously better, or even maybe a Wrestle Druid. I think President is really bad in this type of comp. Mainly like melee cleaves that might be good or something like that, or maybe even Boomy DH. But in this type of comp, it's like, meh, it's going to be hard to kill a Dev Evoker versus these type of comps because they're going to be doing so much damage. And Dev Evoker is kind of glass cannon, so we lost to this comp before. So we actually beat these guys in the opener. As long as we live the opener, we pretty much beat these teams automatically. We lost to the team in the opener last time because my guys just thought they could hold CDs or something like that, and we ended up dying. Here's another thing of, okay, it's double cav, so you're gonna, as long as it's not a priest or like a holy priest or like a something else, you want to be going healers on your burst. So here we just full send, we trinket here, we're gonna put every CD, we're gonna bomb him so the priest can't heal him, we're gonna gouge the priest, vanish, and then cheap shot. And yeah, the game's pretty much over at that point. The priest needs to run in and swap, but thankfully I pre-bombed on the trank. That way he wasn't able to swap. That's what he was trying to do. He was gonna run into the bomb and swap, but he would have to trinket to do that. He should have trinketed the gouge and ran in and swapped, because that was his only hope of saving the druid there. The druid got way too low. There's nothing that was no ironbark, no global that would have saved him. He needed some type of either swap or some off healing. But we take the dub. Here's a comp where you want to go boomy. You want to go the person who's going to be CCing your healer a lot. So here we're going to open our pre-evasion. Actually, no, not this game. I don't pre-evasion. We faced these guys twice. We won the first one. We lost the second one. This is another hard game for us. Anything that's double caster wise is going to be kind of difficult. So here we bomb. We have a lot of burst potential here. Um, Unfortunately, it looks like he purged all my burst, but that's just how it is. We're pretty much just going to rebleed, bleeding everything possible. We're just pumping out damage on everything. And you're just kindling off DR. And that's pretty much all your class is. It doesn't really matter what comp you're playing. This is kind of just how Assassination, and this is why I like Assass so much, is because obviously it doesn't take much, skill to just bleed. Now, it is fun. It's definitely, it takes a lot of skill defensively, and if you don't use your CDs correctly, you're going to die. But, for some reason, Clone puts you in combat, I think, because I should have easily been able to get a clone, or I should have been able to get a restart there, but unfortunately I didn't. The reason I swapped Ellie on that last go is because obviously it was fully DR'd on the Druid, so there's no point of going Druid if we don't have a stun. So we went Shaman and we got his Trinket. Again, these type of comps are going to be very difficult, and if you lose versus these, it's fine because you're kind of meant to lose to these. It's because you want stuff that's stacking. With our comp, stuff that stacks is going to be great. If we had if we had a Wrestle Shaman, his static totem would put 2 or 3 of them together, and that's where that would be good. That's where you'd have a fighting chance versus these. Otherwise, it's kind of just you PvE and hope you can kill them before they can kill you, type of thing. And that's pretty much that. But that's pretty much it. You're kind of just PvEing them down, just getting your bleeds up, Kenny off DR, and that's about it. It's not really that hard to get, especially once you get it down and you're playing with okay people. But yeah, I was pretty much just getting my cap. I'm almost best in slot on this guy. I'm probably just gonna get the Signet ring instead of going for the PvE ring, because the normal rings, you get 1300 mastery, but I don't know, you lives out on so much verse that I don't even know if it's worth. And I'm too lazy to sit in a 30-minute raid queue just to have a quote-unquote chance at getting it. So I'll probably just get the Signet ring, even though I don't have any sparks. I need sparks. Of course, I always need something. It's a gearing simulator. But yeah, it's pretty much that. I did try some Cataclysm PvP. We tried some threes. It was actually pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. We're playing Feral, Arms Warrior, HPAL, and we actually won every game. We went 10-2, or no, we went 10-1. And the only comp we lost to was a mirror comp, and I just bought my weapon and 2 other pieces on top of the 2 that I already had. So I think threes wise in Kata is actually pretty fun. I just think 2 is really bad. Maybe once people start getting conquest gear and you start seeing 15 to 20k a second, if that's how much the damage goes up by, maybe then 2s will be better. But with the 5 to 8k damage going around right now, yeah, it's pretty unlikely 2s is going to be pretty much just garbage. It's just going to be a damp fest, and nobody really wants to play that. So yeah, that's pretty much that. But threes wise, it's fun. I haven't tried 5s, but overall, it actually hasn't been that bad in 3s. I actually enjoy 3s, considering the 2s experience was just god awful. And yeah, we'll definitely end up playing 3s. And Feral Warrior is definitely the comp to play if you're looking to get dubs. It's just such a good, it's such a bursty comp that on their CDs, it's like you're literally just like people just don't know how to play. It's very hard to live through that type of damage because unless you have really good peeling and you just know how to play. Thankfully, I have retail experience, so I can put that over to, I have H-file retail experience, so I have a little bit of I already know what's doing in those high tense situations. But somebody who doesn't play PvP a lot or isn't used to that super high end burst, they're gonna have a really hard time healing it, and that's pretty much what was happening. All the healers just you literally just go healers with that comp, and you just train the healer. Same thing with like DK Warrior or really any comp. Anytime the healer's out of LOS, just go the healer with a stun, and it's really hard for them to recover because when you have a warrior on top of you and a druid, if you get there's no precog, so if you get kicked once, you're sitting a 5 second kick on top of the 6 second stuns. On top of you got the fate has 2 kicks, and on top of that you have another stun you have to go through. It's just even if you do fake cast, by the time you fake cast, you're just gonna get hit in the mouth with a 130 hit. It's crazy. Threes are just definitely a lot better. But if you face really good people, then it's definitely it's difficult. But let me know what you guys thought about this video. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.